So good day, everybody. How you doing? I'm Paul Nee, Safety Director with Alliance Partition Systems.
And Jeff Stevens, Safety Coordinator with Alliance Partition Systems.
And this week's Safety Sense and More topic is protecting zero.
What does that mean to protect zero, Paul?
So protecting zero is zero injuries on any Alliance Partitions job site. Be it job site, office, the shops, on the road, protecting zero. So we've been really good this last year, 2021. We didn't hit zero as far as injuries, but we had zero time loss injuries. And zero time loss injuries is what elevates, or I should say, makes our EMR score go down.
How do we accomplish that?
Accomplish that but in several different ways. And training's a big one. Planning is a huge one. And we're going to go into that a little bit deeper dive in today's recording. So, zero injuries, thusly protecting zero. That is the concept of today. So how do we start with that? Daily, number one, we have our daily required on every job site. Remember this, foreman and you workers, that if your foreman's not doing it, say, why aren't we doing it? You have stretch and flex every day. We have the video, it's on the YouTube channel. We encourage you to use that. It's 6 minutes long. It has all the stretches that help you warm up prior to starting your day's work. It's been proven that it reduces, if not completely gets rid of soft tissue injuries such as sprains, strains, and those kind of things. The other thing that goes along with the stretch and flex is the daily safety huddle. That's a time where everybody can talk about what's going on, any changes on the job site, anything that the foreman knows that's coming up that's going to change. Maybe there's a trench opening up, maybe there's going to be some other kinds of work, maybe they're flying loads over everybody. Right. So the safety huddle is meant for that. It's for also for the crew to bring up anything that they see they may need or whatever that may not have been addressed previously.
I have a story concerning that, actually.
Let's hear it.
I was working on a job site where there's iron workers that started working above me, but we didn't have a pre-morning huddle, so we didn't know that they were going to be working right directly above us. And they actually dropped hot slag. It went beyond my tool bag belt, down into my butt crack, and actually almost caught the forest on fire. So, long story short, having those huddles is essential to having a good work day and preparing for zero. So.
The other thing too that I think that the crews will find that in safety huddles is, say somebody is called in sick, it's an opportunity for the foreman to readjust his crews on that site. Yeah. Larger sites, it's not as much of an impact, but small jobs that have 5-6 guys on it, one guy missing, that's a huge impact on the site for that day. So it gives the foreman, who's the manager of the tools and stuff, but also the leader of his crews. And this will go into another video we shoot. What is the difference between management and leadership?
Well, and then it's not just enough just to do daily stretch and flex. You really want to incorporate the daily safety huddle too, so your crews are aware of what's going on daily. Because obviously, construction sites daily, the sites change, the hazards change, and so we want to address those during those huddles. So really important.
Then the second most important thing, and I shouldn't say second most, they're all
important,
utmost importance that we do as a company, and that's our equipment inspections. And so right now, every lift has to have an inspection done daily. We've been doing them on paper. Jeff and I are working with our company that we just signed on with. We're in fact have a meeting later today to discuss where we are in the paperwork, and we're going to be launching this app real soon. And when we do, especially on the large job sites, you can talk to text, you can do your thing, everything can be done on your phone, it can be done on the foreman's tablets. There's various ways of accomplishing these inspections, but what it's going to do is be faster, more efficient, and it's also going to instantly be able to give us the information to pass on to GCs that the inspections have been done. The other thing that it does is, on the inspection sheets, it has you walk your area. What are impacts that may hinder your work? Is there sprinkler pipes? Is there duct work? Is there an edge? Is there a hole in the floor? These kind of things. These are all done in that inspection process with your equipment. Um,
Yeah, if you think about it, like if you were using a scissor lift in your area, what hazards are there when you go into those areas? And that's part of the inspection of your work area as well as your equipment, and make sure that your lifts work properly, and then your hazards in the area.
And also, when you're doing your lift inspections, you're going to also want to be inspecting your fall protection equipment, because here at APS we follow the 880 standard of under Washington Labor and Industries rules, which is 296-880, which is fall protection all industries. This was adopted in October of 2020, and in that it states it doesn't matter what kind of lift you're in, you have to be tied off with fall restraint devices. So we've gone over and above getting harnesses and some really cool units to use. But no job site that has a lift on it, if it doesn't have a harness and doesn't have a lanyard or an analog, you can't get in the thing and operate it. So this is also on people to make sure the safety department knows what you need when you need it. The other thing too is planning, and I mentioned that. So if you want to talk about DWPs and JHAs, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, so DWP is his daily work plan, and the JHA is a job hazard analysis. So we want to be sure we're filling those out daily, and because we want to be, like I said a little bit earlier, we want to be aware of our hazards. Each task that we're doing, we're performing, and we want to eliminate those, or and for sure address them so they don't come back to bite us. We don't want to be reaching up above us, up above a scissor lift where we're topping out and accidentally slice our arm open, like that has happened recently. So we want to eliminate those as much as possible. So just the pre-planning is huge.
Part of this planning process is you're going to go over your daily activities, and I'm going to talk on a thing in a minute here, but by planning out your activities, you know what materials you're going to need, you know what safety equipment you're going to need, and you know that out of the blocks. So your day is planned for you. Now, how do you plan your day? And back when I was the field instructor with the training center, and Dan Bryant was my partner, one of the first things we developed in 2003 was called STP, short-term plan, or short-term planning. And this was a thought process that every crew team, so you have 2 drywallers, 2 framers, whatever the case may be, are planning out their activities in about 3-hour segments, because you have from start time to break time to lunchtime to quitting time. Now, if you add up 3 plus 3 plus 3, that's 9 hours. So it doesn't quite work out that way, but that's how it is. And so you set goals. But the first activity in STP is see what you got to do, figure it out in your head. I need 100 sticks of track and I need 500 studs. So get my materials lined up. Could be drywall. I'm going to need a bunch of sheetrock. Is it close by? Can I bring a cart or 2 to me right away and start working? But plan out all of your steps, you and your partner, so that you take out any guesswork or, hey, why do we ran out of this and it's only break time? By setting goals, though, too, you become somewhat competitive with other crews. So if all the crews are setting goals, they're going to say, I can get this many feet done a day, and then at the end of the day, they didn't get that many feet, or they got more, so they can reassess their plan for the next day. So you're going to be seeing more of this as we roll this program out. But one thing about safety doesn't have to come at costing production. Production and safety can go hand in hand. Planning is the key to that. And then the other thing is the STP. So I'm going to be making up these business cards for everybody gets one, and it lays out the whole process. And then we'll also have posters hanging up on job sites, in gang boxes, in the trailers, whatever, to foster that way of thinking. So to be productive, you have to be mentally and physically fit, and most importantly, you have to be safe. And when you factor all those things in together, when you feel safe, you're more productive. It's just a proven fact. Mm-hmm. I know that back in the day, I came up when fall protection was do not fall. It's been that long. And then we started wearing body belts, and we had rope lanyards. And so a lot of guys, when they fell, their backs got all screwed up because they were wearing a body belt and a hard lanyard. Nowadays we wear harnesses, or if we're using lanyards, they have shock absorbers built into them, or SRLs have shock absorbers built into them. So there's all kinds of good stuff. It's really come along. Be mentally fit. If there's stuff messing with you, if you're not comfortable with heights, talk to your foreman, talk to us. We'll either work you through it or get you on a job site that's more to your liking. I don't like heights, but as long as I feel safe, I'll work on almost anything. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we want to protect the zero. We want to think through our processes throughout the day. We also, you want to consider, we all have the authority to stop work. If something's unsafe, if you think about it, we're going to protect the zero. We want to make sure we say, hey, that's not safe. Or if you see another trade doing something unsafe, it doesn't, I mean, we should all speak up, say something. I worked on a job site where a guy was working on top of a ladder next to a fall hazard down to this next level. I could either laugh at him and be like, oh, that guy's stupid, or I could step up and say, hey, that's an unsafe act. So we've done that. We've visited job sites and we've told other trades, hey, that's unsafe. Besides you guys in the field, like, hey, we need to tighten it up, do this safe, this, that, to protect the zero. So I mean, it's a whole team effort. So.
Yeah, and bringing up the point of other trades. So the other day we were on a job site and I saw a guy that was in a predicament on a ladder, and I just said, hey, I know I don't work for your company, but if you consider where you're at and everything, what happens if you fall? And he says, well, I could go down that elevator shaft. And I said, yeah, you could. So this is where you would want to consider, how do I set my stuff up so I'm not setting myself up for failure? And that's basically what's going on. I'm not their boss. I'm just trying to educate people. But this whole process of checklists and daily inspections and stuff goes back to, think about every time you jump on an airline. You jump in that jet plane. You know what those pilots do every time before they even start to back away from the terminal.
Yep.
They have a checklist. Why? These guys are professionals. They've been flying planes forever. But every day they go down a checklist and they check off everything.
Yep.
The first officer and the captain. They check off everything. Now you say, okay, that's a commercial airplane. So do private pilots. My brother-in-law and my sister own an airplane. They're private pilots. They do the same thing. They have their checklist. Why? Because when you're in the air and something goes wrong, you're very limited to ways out. Now in a small plane, sometimes you got highways you can land on. Big planes, something goes wrong. It's pretty much not a good thing. So remember, time that you spend planning and doing your checklist will come back to you. And it doesn't have to be a 10-minute ordeal. You can run through these things really fast. And with the Sailist software that we're going to be rolling out here real soon, we have talk to text. It's going to be bilingual as far as the questions, how they ask them. They'll both be in English and Spanish, so it's going to be fairly seamless, we're hoping. It will be once we get the final product rolled out. But speaking of daily work plans, JHAs, lift inspections, all that kind of thing, those are all going to be available on this app, and so more to come on that soon. So in closing, let's all do our best this year to protect the zero. We had some outstanding numbers last year, but we want them even to be more outstanding this year. And the only way we accomplish that is with you guys being our frontline soldiers out here in the field protecting zero.
Yes, for sure.
So thank you, be safe, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Be safe.